Okay, we're back for part 2. So, if you've seen part 1 of this, then you'll know that for this project, I really wanted to put the listener in the middle of this, I guess, otherworldly experience of this sort of pagan horror death ritual, because I just really think that that's something that people want to experience, because I am a psychopath. And I really think that Dolby Atmos is the absolute perfect tool to do these sort of things. So one thing that I really wanted to focus on was movement, because I think that these tools can be utilized in very creative ways. Again, I talked about it in my previous blog entry, saying that these tools can be used in a really effective way to create a sense of authenticity, or God, what's the word? To really make the listener feel like they are in the moment. I really wanted to put the listener in the middle of all these sounds that are happening, and to do this for my piece, I just relied on using an absolutely insane amount of automation. I wanted to really put an emphasis on movement. So you hear the flute sections, sort of every single part is automated to move almost as if there were the orchestra or the musicians were dancing around the listener. So let's have a look at that. Another thing that I played with when it came to using Dolby Atmos was not just the angle of where the sound was coming from, although I think that was probably the most important thing for this piece, but it was also the spread of the actual sound source, which I think is something that would be, I guess, hard to replicate live. So in that sense, maybe it takes away for the authenticity of the experience, but also it sounds really cool. So fucking sue me, I don't know. Another thing that I did when it came to automation was I wanted this track to really feel like it was constantly building, to sort of give that sense of, something's coming for you. So for that, I mean, it was really just a case of just using the volume automation and then just sort of adding all these extra layers of just texture and an instrumentation to really give it that sense of epicness, I guess. Most of it came down to just automating the angle of the sound source and making sure that there was enough difference in the sound or the melody to make it seem like there was a sort of prominent part that was moving around. And I found that really, really interesting and very enjoyable to do. It was very sort of meditative in a strange sense, even though this piece is obviously quite horrible. Well, sort of. I also think that that panning really helped me to, especially in Dolby Atmos, really helped me to make sure that every single instrument had its own space. Because, I mean, a lot of this track gets a little mushy, which I guess it's easy for me to say now. It's supposed to. It is. I promise. But I do feel like having a 360-degree space really helped me sort of allow each instrument to inhabit its own space within the mix, which was wildly useful for me. I think when it comes to the actual processing of each individual instrument, I didn't go that overboard on most of it. I think there was a lot of more sound effects and sort of textural sounds that I used that maybe I'd use like time stretch or a pitch shift on. But for the most part, for the actual instruments, I wanted them to sound relatively organic, apart from using a pretty hefty tablespoon of reverb, which if you've used stock instruments before, you'll know that they can turn a sort of shitty sounding MIDI instrument into a pretty decent sounding live instrument. So that was a huge part of it. Reverb, it never lets you down. Yeah. So anyway, that basically just about does it for this. I feel like I could talk about this piece for hours, or just Dolby Atmos in general for hours, because it is a brilliant tool. Hopefully this has been mostly a coherent ramble. I am very ill, like I said. But I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to check out the full piece. I'm going to go back to bed. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love you all, and take care. Bye.